Welcome to GamblerStudio. In today's session, we're going to explore one of the most powerful skills you can develop at the poker table, learning how to spot weak players. Weak players, or what some call recreational players, are the ones who give away the most money in the long run. And if you can identify them quickly, you put yourself in the best position to profit calmly, steadily, and without forcing the action. Let's begin. First, remember that spotting weakness isn't about looking for one big obvious tell. It's about patterns, behaviors that repeat, and actions that don't make sense when compared to strong, logical play. We'll break this into categories: pre-flop behavior, post-flop decisions, bet sizing, emotional control, and table presence. Let's start with pre-flop behavior. Weak players are often too loose. They enter too many pots without thinking about position or hand strength. You might see someone limping in almost every hand, or calling raises with hands like 10-6 offsuit, Queen-4 offsuit, or small disconnected cards. This is a clear sign of a player who wants to see flops without discipline. On the other side, some weak players are too tight. They fold almost every hand, and when they do raise, it's only with absolute premiums. Both of these extremes are weaknesses that you can take advantage of. Next, let's look at post-flop decisions. One of the biggest signs of a weak player is passivity. They check and call, rarely betting or raising unless they have a monster. They don't put pressure on their opponents. Instead, they wait to make a hand and hope it holds. This style loses money because poker rewards aggression. Another post-flop weakness is inconsistency. They'll bet small one time, then huge the next time, with no logical pattern. If their decisions don't seem connected to the strength of the board or the action, that's usually a sign of inexperience. Now let's move to bet sizing. Weak players often telegraph their hand strength with the size of their bets. For example, they might bet really small with weak hands and suddenly go huge when they have top pair or a strong draw. Or they min-raise without understanding why. Pay attention. Bet sizing is one of the most reliable signals at the table. Strong players are consistent. Weak players leak information with every chip they put in. Another important category is emotional control. Tilt is the biggest enemy of the weak player. They lose one hand and immediately chase their losses. They might start raising every pot or bluffing recklessly. You'll notice frustration in their body language, their timing, or even in their chat if you're playing online. When a player is tilted, you don't even need strong cards. Patience and discipline will usually win you their chips. Finally, consider table presence. Weak players often give themselves away without realizing it. They talk too much about bad beats, about how unlucky they are. They celebrate loudly when they win a pot, or they reveal information in their conversations that shows they don't study or think deeply about the game. Strong players are calm, controlled, and focused. Weak players are reactive and emotional. So how do you take advantage of these weaknesses? Here are a few practical steps. First, isolate them. If you spot a weak player limping in, raise larger than usual to get them heads up. Second, value bet thinly. Weak players call too much, so bet your medium-strength hands for value. Third, bluff selectively. Most weak players hate folding, so don't try to run massive multi-street bluffs. Instead, pick small spots where their range is obviously weak. As we close this session, remember that poker isn't just about your cards. It's about the people sitting across from you. Your long-term profit comes from exploiting mistakes, and the easiest mistakes to exploit come from weak players who sit down without discipline, strategy, or patience. Practice this skill every time you play. Watch for looseness, pre-flop, passivity post-flop, inconsistent bet sizing, emotional reactions, and a lack of focus at the table. These are the signs that money is waiting to be won. Thank you for listening to GamblerStudio. Stay calm, stay disciplined, and I'll see you in the next session.